people don't take care of their own kids anymore. They send them into daycare, and that's more efficient because one person can take care of 10 kids at the same time. It's more efficient to have one super band sing all the songs and distribute them to everybody else and not have people get together and sing anymore. But really, the efficiency is just maximizing the thing that can be measured, and that's not what we need right now. We already have enough of that on this planet. Even though 1 in 7 children in this country goes to bed hungry, it's not because we don't have enough calories. 50% of all food is wasted in this country. It's because there's not enough money, which is ironic because money is something that would be like saying there's not enough inches to build enough houses. I mean, money is essentially a measure. We've become more and more efficient at producing those things that we can measure. And so I drive through suburbia, and I'm like, can't we do better than this? Like, really? After 3,000 years, 5,000 years of architectural development, we're building these square boxes? Like, we were richer in that sense. We were richer 100 years ago, 200 years ago. So I see Etsy as part of a counter movement to re-enrich life. This is another way that what you're doing is bad for the economy. Because if the real hunger isn't for the measurable, isn't for the amount of stuff, isn't for the size of your home, if the real hunger is for beauty, for connection, for uniqueness, for relationship, if that's what the real hunger is, then to the extent that you provide that and meet the real hunger and provide that richness in somebody's life, then they're not going to have that desire to endlessly consume. And maybe you can sense that you're part of something more than just a change in a mode of distribution. It's a transition from a money economy to a gift economy. When I say that, I'm not saying that we're going to abolish money or eliminate money completely. We're saying that the role of money is shrinking. All the examples of collaborative consumption are an example of that. Another question to investigate, which I do in my book, but I won't do too much here, is how can we transform money itself to make it take on some of the properties of the gift? Every time that there is a transaction on Etsy, a gift is happening. It's not just a financial purchase. And I'll explain that from both directions. From the perspective of the buyer, if all I wanted was that shirt, I could get it cheaper somewhere else. But I'm willing to pay extra. And I'm willing to pay extra for something that cannot be measured. If you can't measure it, then there is no rational price for it. So I'm paying more for something I can't measure. That extra money I'm paying is a kind of a gift. For the seller, I think, and there's probably a lot of Etsy sellers here, and even if you're not an Etsy seller, many of you are in some other way an artist. You're not fundamentally doing it for the money. You didn't say, okay, what's the best way I can maximize my rational self-interest in this life? I know I'm going to, I'm going to knit things by hand, right? You want to create something beautiful, and you're giving it out there. That is also fundamentally a gift mentality. I mean, here's even a deeper level of the transition that we're going through right now. Gift economics corresponds to a different way of understanding ourselves and a different way of perceiving the world. In a money economy, we're all in competition with each other, and your well-being is separate from my well-being. In fact, if you get sick or under some disadvantage, that's actually good for me because that's one less competitor. But in a gift economy, it's the opposite. Ancient gift economies, and any community today that deserves the name of community, in other words, any community that people depend on each other, if anybody in that community suffers an illness, dies, suffers some misfortune, that's bad for me too. Because that's one person who cannot fully share her gifts. So the way we see the world in a gift economy kind of matches up with spiritual teachings that say, you are part of me. Your happiness is my happiness, and what I do to you, I do to myself. It doesn't conflict with the economic environment the way it does today in a money economy. So as we step more fully into our nature as gift-giving beings, we also begin to see the world in a different way and no longer see ourselves as these discrete, separate beings in a universe of other. This is going to be the new defining economic paradigm in the future. It's not just, the money system that's breaking down. It's all of our institutions that enforce separation, that tell us in one way or another, you are a separate individual in a universe of other. Even biology is now changing its paradigms and discovering the importance of cooperation and symbiosis. Even physics, the self-other distinction is beginning to break down. And so we're stepping into a new understanding of who we are. And the answer to what's the purpose of life, which economics has said to maximize rational self-interest, and biology has said to maximize reproductive self-interest. Our understanding of that is really changing to an ecological understanding, which is my purpose, the purpose of human life, is to give of my gifts towards something bigger than myself, towards something that's meaningful to me. Ancient people understood this. Anyone in a gift economy understands this. Anyone who studies ecology understands that no species is there just to seek its own benefit, but that every species gives something necessary for the well-being of the whole. And you take away any species, and all species are worse off. Not better off, not one less competitor, better off, but all species are worse off. And we are the same. Humanity generally, but every single person in this room also has a gift, or many gifts. And if you are doing anything in your life, in any situation, whether it is a job or a relationship or anything else, where you're not giving of your gifts towards something meaningful, you're going to feel, I wasn't put here on earth to do this. Maybe some of you have been through a time like that in your lives. And then maybe, I don't want to make a fairy tale about it, but maybe then you found Etsy. And I think that that's really, I don't know, maybe on like a spiritual level, that's maybe the most important thing that's happening here, is it's giving people an opportunity to enact their gift. It didn't exist before in a centralized commodity economy. You had to suppress your gifts even, or devote them towards something you didn't care about, but no longer. Now you can listen to that feeling. I wasn't put here on earth to do that. I was put here to give something that only I can give maybe just in my tiny little unique way. After all, life is a gift. I didn't earn being born. I didn't earn the water. I didn't earn the sun. I didn't earn any of this. I've received so richly, and I desire to give in turn. And now, Etsy is one of the new ways that we can act on that. The gift seeks the need, and the need seeks the gift. So you put it out there, and then that unique other person in the ecosystem that wants exactly that wants the broken laser pointer, or wants that thing that you make, and then you find that person, and because you're giving something to that person that's a little bit beyond the price, a relationship is born. Gifts create relationships. Money transactions do not. I paid you, you gave me the thing, we're done. But in an Etsy transaction, it often goes beyond that. The seller will send a little extra thing even, wrap it really nicely, and then you want to keep buying from that person. And there's another relationship that's happening, and that's another signature of the gift. So we're creating wealth here, wealth that can't quite be measured, will never show up on economic statistics, but it's the wealth that meets the real need for beauty and connection and the enactment of purpose. And my time is up, but it was a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you. you.